a little over a year ago, a new show came to Medford called Totally Trivia. Since then, Totally Trivia has gone on to bigger and better heights as they went throughout Massachusetts and now have traveled on to New Hampshire. And today, Joanne, Codi, and LoPresti join me here today to say hello to everyone in Medford. Girls, thank you for coming on the show today.
Hi, Melissa. This is Mary Elizabeth.
Okay.
Mary Elizabeth.
Mary the Great.
Mary the Great, yeah. Forget the Anne, forget the Elizabeth. Mary the Great.
Okay.
She actually, I think, went before a judge to have that changed.
Well, Joanne, then why don't you tell us what's been going on with Totally Trivia? I know it hasn't been on for a few weeks in Medford, but
well, we do hope to show some reruns. Not that that's a bad thing, but we have a lot of shows that were really fun shows, and a lot of great contestants at. And you know, they got played a lot. Can't complain about the airplay, but it's been a long time. We have a lot of shows that were taped back in October, November, December, and earlier this year that we'd like to replay again. So I think the folks at home will, you know, look forward to start and seeing those. I'm not sure, maybe in a couple of weeks. On a regular basis, each week there'll be a new old show to see, and maybe you were on one of those and you could tune in. But in the meantime, we're taping a lot of shows up in New Hampshire. Yeah.
Okay, well, tell us exactly, how did you get involved in New Hampshire Cable?
Mary and I were expanding to different cities. We had gotten the show on in Cambridge and in Somerville and Malden, and it was getting picked up in Arlington, and there was an attorney that lived in Arlington who saw a show, and he fell in love with it, and he gave us a call and thought, he's a young attorney and he wanted to get involved with entertainment law, right. And he just thought he could help us. So I said, sure, go, you know, do what you can. Speak, will ya, for God's sake. So he sent some of our tapes around, and one of the places he sent them to was WMUR Channel 9 in New Hampshire. And Julie Camposano, who is a program director over there, saw the tape, and she loved it. It just so happened that she was involved with a new channel that WMUR was controlling for Continental Cablevision, which is called CMUR. It's sort of an experimental channel on the cable box. It is it reaches a wide audience. It's like 3/4 of the state of New Hampshire. There are some portions of New Hampshire, such as I think Nashua gets Time Warner, and then there's another part of New Hampshire that gets another cable company. But the primary cable carrier in New Hampshire is Continental Cablevision, and so they have this channel CMUR, which they wanted to use as sort of like a Channel 3 for Medford. It was a way that they could show programming just for New Hampshire. And they have things like New Hampshire politicians that get together and each week and talk about the happenings. And I wish I had something with me, but the schedule of the different programs, but you'd get an idea of what kind of programming. And one of the things that they liked about Totally Trivia was it was so designer, you know, like a designer game show. It was just for Medford or just for New Hampshire. We could really tailor it. And they thought that was really neat, that they could put on a game show that was just for New Hampshire residents. And she called us, and we just couldn't have been more taken by her call and more thrilled, because we didn't have to do any selling. She was sold. She just wanted us. And we've been up there, and it's been working out great.
That's wonderful. I'm sure she saw talent and she saw room for growth.
Well, yes.
No, I meant for the show, you know.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's true, because she's real excited. She wasn't sure. It was an experiment for them. They were taking a chance. And when we sent up the first show, she was just nervous. And she hadn't seen the show yet. And, you know, I forgot one thing, and then they got the other thing to her, and I didn't remember this and that. And she's like, Joanne, if you guys aren't ready yet. And I'm like, no, we're ready. And she said, but it's okay if you need more time. And I said, have you seen the show yet? And she said, well, no, we haven't seen the show yet. I said, well, just see the show first and then, you know, call me back. And they did. That was in the morning. It was like a Monday. And that night, Mary was at my house when they called back. And what did they say? They gushed. I mean, they just said, it's tremendous. The words that they used, it was, I couldn't have paid them to say any better things. It was really great. And ever since then, they have not questioned our, you know, readiness.
That's great. Well, that's great. I understand your first show was at Hampton Beach.
Yes, as a matter of fact, it was.
And that was on the 4th of July?
Yes, it was. And I've started a couple of new businesses while I was up there.
Such as?
A sunscreening service. And I've also thought about going into sunglass designing, but
Did you ever get that permit for the sunscreening service? She goes to beaches, Melissa, and she charges $1 to spread sunscreening on men's backs. You know.
Someone's got to do it, you know?
And I thought you were more a woman. No hairy backs.
well, goes without saying.
Oh.
But I know that a lot of people from Massachusetts do go to New Hampshire to visit during the summer. And so you're already at Hampton Beach. You must have met some. And now I know you've been to Hampton Beach, but where else have you been?
We taped in Nashua at the Newbridge Cafe.
Great food.
Yes, Mary enjoyed the food immensely. And then this past weekend we were at Kennedy Lake Park. We did 3 shows there on Sunday. And that was a lot of fun.
And where else do you plan to go in New Hampshire?
Well, now that the weather is getting a little cooler, the fall is coming, malls are always a good place, and just as we did in Medford and Somerville,
Right.
we'll be ducking into the malls. And but before then, I think we're going to tape some shows at New England Dragway, I think. I think we're going to go out there for the Funny Car Nationals, which are September 10th, I think.
Can I drive?
No, Mary, but you can be one of those clowns that they send out in the racetrack in between the races.
Cool.
We hope you don't get hit or anything. It might be an improvement, but it's just fun. And the prizes, although the prizes are almost they're a lot alike to the prizes that we give away here, with the exception of Kennedy Lake.
Well, we are in downtown Medford Square, so our local firemen are going off to a fire.
Doing their job, and we did a show at the firehouse one time too.
Got to go there in New Hampshire.
Yeah, we should probably try that.
Cool.
Because people really liked that when we did the police and we did the firemen, and that might be a good way to get their attention. But we, as I said, we do the same type of gifts with the dinners for 2 and movie passes and things like that. But what we're doing that's a little different to make it a little more exciting and make the prize a little more valuable is we're doubling up different prizes rather than say winning just a book of car washes or just an oil change or something like that. We'll couple them and you win the automotive package.
Prize package.
Yeah, so you win a bunch of stuff that would total over $100 or whatever. So that's fun.
Geez, Mary, I hope you're making the questions harder.
Yeah. Sure. Actually, that's a good thing to bring up. I'm glad you mentioned that because people do tend to say, the questions are so easy. But if you think of it from our standpoint, if people don't get the questions right, then they don't win. And if they don't win, they don't get the prizes. If they don't get the prizes, A, they're not happy, and B, neither are the sponsors. And if the sponsors aren't happy, well, we don't have a job. So we do tend to lean towards the contestant a little bit. But we've been known to stump a few. Do we?
I know one thing when I think of Totally Trivia, I always think of the pencils. So do people that don't win, do they still get a pencil?
Well, they don't actually get a pencil. No, we've graduated. They actually get a T-shirt. They get, tell them what it says, Mary.
I lost on Totally Trivia.
But there is a picture of a pencil on the T-shirt. So we haven't forgotten where we came from, Melissa.
Well, that's...
Isn't that intriguing?
Well, the only thing I have to ask is, where's my shirt?
It's coming. Well, actually, we should make you come on the show. But see, I know you'd win.
I was already
so.
on the show.
Oh, that's
and,
right.
We know what happened.
Oh, then we owe it to you. It's in the mail. We'll get you one. What size? Small. It's coming.
Okay.
Petite.
And now everyone thinks that Mary's a quiet one, but as we happen to know, Mary's picture is hanging in the post office.
It's still there? Gee, I thought I paid all those back taxes.
For all of you who are wondering why exactly her picture is in the post office, here's a short clip to show you Mary as Marilyn Monroe.
Hi, I just wanted to thank you all for making a stamp just for me.
Well, thank you. Today's June 1st, and the Marilyn Monroe stamp went on sale. The customers are very, very happy to see her here, and also, as you can see, our stamps are great here. Everyone here enjoyed our... Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for coming down, Marilyn. We really appreciate it, and you've really made our day.
If if you haven't got your Marilyn stamp yet, ask your daddy to get him for you.
I'll take it home. Let my wife see this. I love it.
Well, rumor has it that the Mystic Players in one of the upcoming shows are going to do the female version of The Odd Couple. And Joanne, I understand you may be playing Florence Unger.
Well, I'm thinking of auditioning. I did play Florence for the Seaside Players, which is in Swampscott, and it was a lot of fun. Again, doing the stage thing is new for me. The first thing I had ever done was with the Mystic Players.
You did a great job.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird little play, but I had a lot of fun playing Florence. It's a stretch, and
Do you think they'll let me play Olive?
don't you think she could be a good Oscar? I've seen her house, okay? So,
Mary and Joanne, I know that you're doing a great job in New Hampshire, but ultimately, where do you hope Totally Trivia does go in the future?
well, we are right now in the process of contacting a station in Rhode Island and in Connecticut. So I think that the game plan would be to surround Boston from all sides until they buckle under the pressure. And we would really like to bring the show home, but to a what?
I just want to be on Regis and Kathy Lee. Maybe David Letterman.
That's her end all. Except I told her Drew Barrymore already flashed him, so what's left?
You think of something.
As I mentioned earlier,
Okay.
Totally Trivia just enjoyed their one-year anniversary, which was held at the Comedy Connection. And although I was invited, I wasn't able to attend, but I heard that everyone had a wonderful time.
Yeah, we did, and this lady over here was hysterical. She brought the house down. You had fun, didn't you?
Tons.
She did have fun. And I did speak to your dad, and he told me why you couldn't make it, and we forgive you. We missed you, but you know, mentioning your dad, I just want to say, because this will give us an opportunity that we really haven't had up until now. And your father, for one, Dan Hurley, did a lot for us, especially in the beginning of Totally Trivia. He supported us, and he was one of the few sponsors that we didn't approach, but yet he approached us and said, look, you know, I can do this, I can do that. And he, of course, works in conjunction with the Burger Kings, and he gave us lots of Burger King free breakfast croissants and sandwiches and things, just to give away to the consolation prizes, as well as he gave us birthday parties and things as a big prize to give away in the show, and he was just a lot of help. And while we're on the subject, I want to take this moment to just thank a lot of folks in Medford. This is the place that supported us and enjoyed us, and we enjoyed doing the show here, and without sounding completely ridiculous and self-absorbed, Carl over at Left Field Sports was a tremendous help to us. He contacted us again and found us and helped us and brought us, literally took me by the hand and brought me to different stores and such and introduced me. I know I'm going to forget a few people, so forgive me if I do. But the Meadow Glen Mall was a big help. Vin Costco and George over there was helpful to us. And help me, Mary. The mayor, of course, Mayor McGlynn, was phenomenal.
Oh, the schools.
In the schools, yeah. And you know, there were a couple of mothers. I do want to take a moment. There was Terry Contardo and Janice McGonigal. And these were two moms from separate schools, and I'm not going to remember the schools. Was Dame School one of them? I don't remember. Davenport. There was so many, but these particular moms really went out of their way to organize classrooms and get permission slips going home and coming back and getting times down and running back and forth with kids. And they really made it happen. And I know that we would run into people in the street who might say, how come you didn't come to my son's school? Or, you know, you went to this one and not that one. That's the reason why, because you have those parents out there who are really willing to get going and volunteer, and they just helped us immensely. And I know there were bunches more people. The Star Market people were great, and just all the stores in the square and stuff.
The sporting goods store.
We could be here forever.
Yeah.
But just all Ronnie's Pizza. Riverside Deli. Yeah, we can't forget Anthony. You know, and the Riverside Square convenience store there that did the lottery tickets for us. I don't know, just everybody. Ruth. And Ruth Carr.
Your photographer.
Yeah. Do you know Ruth?
Right.
And she's been great, and you know, just everybody.
Well, unfortunately, we have to end this show, but
Wait, Marty's Caterers. Okay, go ahead. I'll shut up, I promise.
But I do want to thank both of you for being on Medford Square TV, and we know that you've moved on to different things, but we hope you always come back and visit, and you always have a place on our show.
Oh, well, thank you. And of course, we will.
Great.
Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you.
And I'm Stella Lee. And we want a Medford TV. And we are really enjoying ourselves. We wish everyone was here with the music and the dancing. And the photographer is excellent. I don't know his name, but he will announce it. Joe. And I want to thank him very much so that we will be on TV and advertise the good times we have. Bye.